you're like, what the fuck is going on? I said before, singing.
It's also interesting how you get the sort of pushback that you do. I think it's also because everyone else who was there as well. But the thing that I find so interesting is like you're in this position, obviously, because of your influence. And yeah, I would definitely argue at one point you had so much influence. Not that you don't have as much now, but it's also funny to see the comments where people will say, "Oh, he's a psyop from like the other side, like he's trying to destroy the family thing." There's some funny things I can make about that, some points about like the misogynistic stuff, but they'll say that about you. And I remember when I first met you, I had a conversation probably for like 2-3 hours after we did a podcast, and obviously I never got that vibe, never got it once being around you. But the thing that's funny is that now you're in this position, right? Like currently, knowing that you have this case coming up.
Yeah.
I just wonder, how does it flip flop if you do what you just said? If you actually go to jail for X amount of time in the cases you're talking about,
yeah, people
they'll flip flop and go, wait, no, maybe he wasn't.
I think people just won't give a. Who's going to win the Pro Football Championship this year? Make your pick. Trade it on Robin.
Available now on GOAT. Air Jordan 11 Retro Rare Air.
Yeah, to be honest with you, when I first got arrested at the height of my influence, it was the perfect storm to actually make me more influential for a few reasons. And one of them was that I predicted and saw it coming. And one day, when I tell the full 2-hour story of how it happened to me with the paperwork and show you how corrupt this world is and show you how literally Five Eyes intelligence agencies will just call a country and say, deal with this guy, and how the legal system's all made up and how the judges are bought. When I show all receipts head to toe on a video, which I'm going to do, and if they put a bullet in my neck, it's already made, it's going to come out. When I explain how everything is, I knew what was coming, and I kept saying they're going to arrest me, and then I got arrested in Romania, and then the charges are so outlandish, human trafficking, it sounds so crazy, and I was the most Googled man in the world at the time, so it was almost like a perfect storm to flip to make me more popular in some ways, although I suffered for it. But now if I get locked up, they're just going to say, oh yeah, he sold out to the Jews anyway, and everyone's going to talk about it for 5 minutes, and then they're going to continue with their lives. So the people who watch these things on the internet, because they're so desperately chasing outrage and dopamine, they want you to set yourself on fire and martyr yourself and destroy your life and never see your kids again for their entertainment. They don't even really give a shit about the cause or the messaging. They just want to be entertained. Yeah. People at home, they want people to steal your hat because they just want to see a fight. They're just like feral animals. Nobody actually sits there and is locked into the mission anymore. I even think all this anti-Semitism on the internet is actually helping the Jews. No one's locked into the mission. No one's trying to wake people up to the truth and the reality of how this world works. And if you do, you're a sellout somehow. I said on another podcast, I said, listen, perhaps the Jews are in charge of everything, but you need to not hope and use that as an excuse to fail. There's not a single Jew that stops you going to the gym.
Yeah.
If you're skinny and you're weak, it's your fault. And if you type that, you're a sellout to the Jews, and they're going to tell you that's not true. That the Jews have psyoped everyone, and that they're psyoped, and there's no point going to the gym because women only want money, and they're just going to write a whole bunch, call you a sellout.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys have been so heavily wrecked mentally. It's embarrassing.
Nuance is gone.
Of course, all the nuance is gone. They've left from one jail, which is ignorance, not understanding anything about the real world, through the reality of life, into another jail of I can't do anything about it, it's all the Jews, and anyone who says that I have personal responsibility and accountability is a sellout. Like, they've just gone from one jail to another.
Yeah.
So the whole world's lost its mind. And if I went to jail now at this point, I don't think many people would actually give it. I think I'd rot in jail for a pretty long time. And I think they'd just sit there and go, oh yeah, whatever, he was a sellout anyway, or some bull, move on to the next thing. I think the world's actually changed so much more than we can realize because it's quite gradual in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You know when things happen slowly, you don't notice? In the last 5 years, the world's actually completely changed. Think about back to COVID times. You couldn't say anything about women, couldn't say anything about black people, it couldn't be racist. Everyone got their accounts deleted for all. It was crazy. And now we're all on the internet.
You didn't post a black square, they're like, you're racist.
Right, N. You got account delete N. Yeah. I. Remember that?
Yeah.
G. I typed G and lost my account.
Yeah.
Like, now you can...
I was on a my buddy Sugar Sean, I was like, yo, you're an animal.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is like racist or bad behavior. I was like, what the? I'm talking about a fighter.
You couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And now you can be fully racist on Twitter, you know, for better or for worse. So the world has changed so much now. I just feel like if they lock me up, no one's going to give a. And I have to give credit, as much as I'm upset that they've done this to me. I have to give credit to my enemy, because my enemy has a weapon, which is time. It just ties you up in the system. It slowly grinds you down. It continues to lie about you. It continues to slander you every day. They pick away at your psyche. They pick away at your brand and your reputation. They use bot farms. They shape narratives. They have all the time in the world. You're on bail anyway, in and out of court, wasting money, going to jail, getting out of jail, paying lawyers, trying to convince a judge. Like, they just.
Kraken is the easiest way to start exploring crypto. Sign up in minutes with no complicated steps and zero stress. Just a few tabs and you're ready to go. Trade your way with access to over 400 coins. And when you're ready, withdrawing funds is just as easy.
Life isn't always right on time. At University of Phoenix, our online classroom is always on, giving you the freedom to learn when and where you want. Pursue your goals on your schedule. Learn more at University of Phoenix.
Just attack. And also the shock factor of, whoa, what the they arrested Andrew Tate is long gone.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just sitting there going, we'll get him 2 years from now, 3 years. Time's on their side. What can you do, bro?
And a lot of it just feels forced at this point.
It's super forced. I hate to interrupt. It is mega forced, bro. Anytime I do anything, I can't take a piss without a mental breakdown on the internet. It's forced. This isn't real. It's all linked to my legal cases and trying to make sure that I don't win them. None of this is accidental. And my legal cases are forced too. They just keep printing new pieces of paper, both the accusations with no real evidence. They don't give it that it's never going to go anywhere. It drags me through the process. I have to hire a lawyer, go to court, defend myself, deal with all the media slander, continue to fight it all the way to the end, and they just print a new piece of paper and wreck me.
Yeah.
I have this theory that a British prosecutor, because England's a toll, probably doesn't make more than $100,000. And the British taxes are around 50%. So if they can get an idiot prosecutor to type up a lie for $100,000 a year, and I have to pay my legal team $5 million to defend myself, and they get 50% of that in tax revenue. So they benefit 2.4M. The British state gets rich off it. Not paying legal fees out. My lawyer has to pay 50% because he's a lawyer, or he's a good lawyer who's going to pay taxes. Their prosecutor's effectively free, and they just get to print out pieces of paper. Andrew Tate is a hateful person. Here's a tweet he did that's hateful. Andrew Tate is a hateful person. He stood next to children in a nightclub one day. Here's we believe, defend yourself. And I'm just getting wrecked. And it won't end. It's like, it's really quite remarkable. You know, you wake up every day and there's just some new lie. And I actually wonder why, when it's clear I'm not going to incite this riot they're afraid of, they're not going to stop. But I guess they've just decided they're going to keep going till I'm gone, I guess.
Yeah. Have you got, there's this other sort of narrative. Have you gotten help from the current administration?
If I had help from the current administration, I wouldn't still be on bail in Romania. What actually happened is, and I need to tell this whole story, it's a 2-hour story one day on a long podcast with the paperwork, but the short version is that my case was actually dismissed under Joe Biden in 2023 of December. They threw my whole case out due to lack of evidence. So they locked me in jail, locked me in my house, prevented me from seeing my mother when she had a heart attack, prevented me from seeing my kids, stole all my money, stole all my cars, stole all my wealth, raided my house 4 times. They did all of that. And then when they put the file to a judge said there's no evidence. You've accused him of crimes, but there's no evidence. They've just typed up what they think I've done. Where's the proof? There's no proof. And threw the entire case out. So they did all of that for no reason.
That same thing happened with COVID.
Yeah.
They kept the gym open.
Crazy. Yeah. And then in the Romanian system, that means that the file goes back to the prosecutor. So now it's on the prosecutor's desk. It's been on the prosecutor's desk for 1.5 years, and nothing's changed. But I'm the first person in Romanian history that, although my case has been thrown out, I remain on bail. But they did give me my passport back. So they threw my case out in December. In February, they said, here's your passport, but you still have to check in. You have to still go to Romania to check in. To this day, that's true. If I don't go check in, it's Interpol red. Here's your passport, go away. Is the fact that Trump was president the reason I got my passport back? I think yes. I don't think he did anything. I think the Romanians just got scared to keep us there without a case in the system. And we're American citizens. And now Trump's in charge. They're probably like, oh, they're going to realize that, the American embassy is going to start to give up. Because before that, I was calling the American embassy. They didn't care.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, whatever, don't care. And then Trump won. I called the embassy. They're like, what the? Okay, let me ask around. America's back, bro. Like, before Trump, America was gone. You know this better than me. There was no America. So the Romanians were like, listen, kid. And then Trump came, like, oh, he's a real American again. America's back. Well, then let him go. I don't think he actually helped me in regards to, calling the Romanians or anything crazy like that. So, that's the situation I'm currently in. That's the predicament. I've got bail in Romania. I've got an extradition hanging over my head with the UK. I've got 3 or 4 cases in the UK. And still got these 32 charges sitting on a prosecutor's desk that were thrown out due to lack of evidence in Romania. It's just,
it's crazy. I want to take it back to kind of like where you really came from, because I know a lot about you. I've seen a lot of content, but what were you like in your early 20s? Like, because I know didn't you do some like Big Brother kind of?
yeah, I did some stupid reality TV,
some rap stuff too.
Yeah, I was around. But I think the world was more fun back then. I'm about to say, when you said what were you like back in your 20s, I was about to say, it's a joke. Truthfully, actually, yes. I don't think it's because I've changed. I think because the world's changed. I think the world was so much more fun back then. And when I think about what I did, that's what makes it so difficult, because you sit and think, well, the world was more fun. What was I doing that was more fun? And it wasn't that I was doing anything. There was just electricity in the air. There was positive organs in the air that I really believe died in COVID. COVID changed the code of the simulation, and I've been bored ever since. Is it just me? Where nothing's been real since COVID? It's like, what the?
Yeah,
I haven't had real fun since literally before COVID. It was really weird. The world was a different place, and I don't know if it's because we're all living under constant surveillance from each other, or we're all obsessed with social media, or we're all permanently distracted, or we all know too much. I don't know what it is, but I miss the old world.
I think it's the constant dopamine hits, like that. Whether you get from like social media interactions or just like, looking at what your life should or shouldn't be, like you're just constant sort of searching outside of yourself for everything.
Yeah, you're constantly either thinking about the past or concerned about the future, or looking at someone else's life wishing you had it, or concerned about some event in the world, or feeling sad about Gaza, or having your brain's all over the place now. It's like I think you're completely right. Back then, you used to go on a night out and have the best time of your life and not take a single picture.
Yeah.
And that's how you knew it was great. You didn't even touch your phone. Now I can't get through a movie. I can't get through a book. I have to touch I always end up reaching for my phone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the world's a completely different place. So it's actually kind of hard for me to answer what I was like, because I don't know what that person would be like in this world, or what I am now would be like in that world. The world was so different. I really think that we're living in a period of time where we're going to experience so many different versions of reality. If you were born in the year 1709 and you died in 1769, I don't think your world changed that much. But I think our world is changing crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I remember the first time I had Wi-Fi on a plane.
Yeah.
Now I expect, and I better have. Yeah, it better be fast. Why is it not loading? Like, where's my quick Wi-Fi? I'm trying to load YouTube. This is trash.
That's so funny.
I remember the first time I spoke to ChatGPT, I was like, what the? This is a machine.
But that's a whole. So what's happening is humans are not supposed to be existing like that. We are existing how we normally exist, but with technology this is not a normal human thing.
Of course.
And I think it's like literally the melding of like computer and human.
Yeah,
and then just slowly going through that.
Completely. It's only a matter of time till we all have Neuralinks in our brain, and we're not allowed to think certain thoughts or go certain places, and the ChatGPT corrects us when we try and talk. It's only a matter of time till we're literally cyborgs, and we are part of the Matrix. Yeah. The Borg from Star Trek is coming for all of us. Yeah. We will be assimilated. There is no escape. And I'm just saying that we're living in our short lives. I think we're around the same age. These 60, 70 years, whatever we get, we're going to watch AI. We're watching the first mobile phone. I didn't have a mobile phone when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Think how fast we're used to mobile phones now. Like it's nothing. Think of the remarkable. Think how crazy that is. So the world's just changing so much, and I don't know. Like it happens slow enough for us to not really notice and not really think about, but it's actually so drastically crazy. Like I can't imagine. I don't know how people go to school anymore. How do they teach lessons or do exams or test or quiz anymore with phones and chat GPT and AI?
I mean, bro, I have employees that straight up do use ChatGPT for everything.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and also like I know people who use ChatGPT like, excuse me, to even try to talk to women.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah, of course. They test the conversation in there. Or I know people very well. In fact, a couple of my girlfriends, exactly this. They've got ChatGPT, and it's not just ChatGPT because they've said, hey, you're going to be my best friend forever. I want you to talk to me in this tone. I want you to use emojis. I want you to be a 29-year-old female who has a very high IQ and a good understanding of sociodynamics. I want you to explain things to me in a sharp and succinct way. Like they've built these people that they're talking to. I catch one of my girls. She keeps calling it she, and it pisses me off. Well, she said, I'm like, stop calling it
there's
she.
no way you're kidding.
No,
There's no way.
100%. I'm like, call it it. It's a machine. Stop calling it she. And she's like, what's the big deal? Like women usher in all of the bad things that happened in society forever. Women ushered in LGBT, they usher in abortion, they usher in open borders. Every single idea you can think of, women usher it in. And women are going to usher in us normalizing these machines being considered people. It's crazy.
I mean, we're becoming less human. That's what's happening.
Of course we are. And we don't trust our own thoughts, or we don't want to use our own thoughts because we have this machine there. And it's just a matter of time. The real question is, now, the people in charge of the world, how are they adjusting the machine's replies to control what we all think and act and do? Right. Because that's what they're going to end up doing. They already do that with algorithms. They try and decide what do we want him to think. So we know they do this because they do it primarily to sell you things.
100%.
I want Bradley to think this way because I want him to buy this thing.
That's indisputable.
Of course.
Yeah.
So if you remove the buy this thing, I want Bradley to think this way so that Bradley doesn't do this. Or Bradley does do this.
Yes.
That's exactly the situation we're in. And they're doing it also with AI. So it's actually very scary, the world we're living in. And I can't imagine, like I said earlier, I went to school, I read information in a book, and I got quizzed. But now you just chat GPT the answers, or you Google the answers on your phone.
Yeah.
Or like, what's the point of a math class? A calculator's in your pocket. My teacher used to literally say to me, "You're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket," and I do. Like,
man,
bro, how do you even go to school now?
Yeah.
Like, you go to school and they say, "What? Hi guys, ask ChatGPT about this." Is that school?
Yeah, I mean, I have complete lost faith in the whole school system.
I don't know how it works. Like, it's clearly bull. Like, is everything bull? The barrier to success in life for such a long period of time was not only agency and energy, but it was also information. You had to know things and know what to do, or find somebody who did know what to do to get it done. But now information has lost all value. Information is now free. If you
Or it's just not even real. Like that's the scary part.
Or it's bull.
Yeah.
That's right. So, we've entered this really brand new age. It's super weird, where anybody can know anything all the time, and they can all know it for effectively free. So how do you differentiate between the successful and the unsuccessful? Well, I would argue it's agency and energy to apply things. But it's still a really weird, strange situation. If I wanted to start one of the world's most complicated companies, I can literally ask the AI, I want to start a legal practice. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
How? She'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I might do that. I could defend myself.
How do I defend myself?
Yeah. It's the world's crazy.
So where do you think it goes? Because I mean, it does really just seem like we're becoming less human. It's going to turn into this like complete reliance on the technology, because that's kind of what the iPhone kind of became. And then it knows where you are, it knows what you like, it knows what you do, it knows everything about you essentially. And then they use that information to either sell. Sounds like they're going to start using information to sort of coerce you into sort of whether left or right political opinions. It's happening. Where do you think it all goes?
Well, it leads to the same place that the government have been trying to lead us to ever since the beginning. I mean, every single day they pass new laws and they never take laws away. It's just going to be complete and total slavery. And they're going to force us to replace our freedom with the idea of safety. Like, I do believe there's a utopian future where there is no murder and there is no car theft and you can leave your door open. But the reason for that is because we're all connected to the grid. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the version of reality that we believe in then, or the version of history that we're told, whether it's true or not, I have absolutely no idea. But I have a strong feeling they're going to exaggerate the problems of the past and convince us that we now need to live this way to prevent. I mean, let's give you a simple example. I've always thought this, and I don't know why I think it, but I've always thought in the future when they solve the self-driving problem and cars never crash again, and you're born in the year 2200 and you're a kid and you're in school, and they're going to say, did you know that people used to drive their own cars? And you'd be like, no. Dude. But how did people drive their own cars? They had a wheel and they'd use their eyes. And they'd be like, but what if they crashed? Then everyone would get mangled and die. And you'd be like, okay, and what if, even if you're paying attention, someone crashes into you? Yep, and you die. What if you're crazy? Or what if you fall asleep? Yeah, everyone in the car dies. And you're like, then how was anyone brave enough to even drive? It was just a crazy world back then. Luckily, we now have full-size self-driving. Mr. Elon Musk, the forever god, who's still alive on planet Mars.
Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be like a movie. You're going to be sitting there like, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
To us, it's normal to just drive the risks we take every day. But in the future, they're going to think it's insane we ever took these risks. And they're going to say that we can't possibly take these risks. You can't possibly have your freedom because it's not safe. And they're going to do that with absolutely everything. They already do it. COVID was to test. COVID was we take all your freedom and give you safety.
Yeah.
So they're going to take all of our freedom and give us safety. And the worst thing about that is that even me as a freedom fighter and somebody who sees this coming, I know it's going to work. Because even I decide to live in Dubai, which is the safest city in the world. Why? Because they have control of everything. And I don't want to live here, but I get robbed. Or shot. So it's right. So you're asking where it ends. It ends with absolute control for the people who want to rule the world.
Do you think it matters whether it's left or right?
I don't think there is left and right.
That's exactly what
I think. Yeah, I think there are pools of transnational capital. I think that these large pools of money, their primary objective is to get more money. If they can get more money by turning their money into money, even better. Because, that's the biggest scam on the planet. If I give you money and say, open a factory to make money, that's one thing. But if I give you money and say, turn your money into more money, and you just put your money in an account and it goes up without any work, well, you're not doing any work. But the reason it's gone up is because someone else has done work and you've stolen their money. That's effectively what's happening. Yeah. And these big pools of transnational capital are doing that. And let's make up a example. But let's pretend these huge pools of capital also have the ability to affect elections because they control all of the world's money and all of the world's media. And let's say they can long or short a currency in a very simple term. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, but let's keep it simple. And you could control who is elected in, let's say, a European nation, and you could short the euro, and the person who goes into office works for you, and it's his primary objective to make the euro crash, so he has to destroy his country. So he opens the border and lets in millions of people who don't belong there, and doesn't lock up any of the criminals, and sends all of the money to Ukraine, and just the whole country against the wishes of every single person who lives there.
Sounds pretty similar to something.
Well, yeah. I mean,
interesting.
I mean, who opens up their border to millions of unchecked migrants on accident? Who sends away their entire national treasury of weapons and money to a corrupt country which is going to steal it all on accident? These people it's not an accident.
Yeah.
These people work for pools of transnational capital, and the transnational capital has bet on the decline of Europe, and they make money as Europe declines. If you're going to play roulette, black or red, and you can control the ball, you're going to make sure you can win.
Yeah.
Europe is committing suicide, mass suicide. America, not as bad because we have Trump. But still, there are large, powerful entities in America which are trying to decline it. The Democrats have no problem destroying this place. They're doing it on purpose because they get rich doing it. They don't give a. They're not destroying it purely because they're idealistic and evil. I think that's quite that's quite an optimistic mindset to sit and believe that the Democrats are just dumb. They're just dumb. No, they're not just dumb. The people who believe in them are dumb. But the Democrats themselves are actually very smart. And they're raping the system. And they're destroying the entire place. They're burning the house down so they can steal everything on their way out. That's exactly what they're doing. And that's what's happening in the world today. There is no left and right. There are pools of transnational capital, which are trying to steal as much money as possible from the places that matter, which is the Western First World. And they have identified that it is white people who love their country, which is their primary enemy. It is white people, white nationalists, who are going to sit there and say, no, this is my country, you're not going to destroy it. So they have to make sure there's as few white people as possible. And the white people they do have are not nationalistic. So to do that, they take the World War II story and teach it as gospel, so there's no white nationalists. Even the idea of being called a white nationalist is an insult. If I say you're a black nationalist, you say, yeah, I'm black and I love Ghana. Well, you're a white nationalist. I'm white and I love America. Why is that a problem? But they've psyoped the world. And I'm mixed race. I'm a brown guy. White nationalists may hate me. I'm just pointing out what's actually happening. Yeah. Because there's white people who sit there and go, wait, my ancestors lived here. My granddad died for this country. I don't want to leave. And I can tell you're stealing from me. Whereas if you bring in a whole bunch of third world migrants, one, they don't give a if you're stealing because they're from countries where everyone steals. Two, they don't notice you're stealing because they can't understand the TV. They just come here to work like slaves and live like peasants with no health care. So who do you want to steal? If you're going to steal from a nation, who do you want in the nation? You want retards to steal from. Yeah. So it's pretty simple what's going on. So, this whole left versus right debate, from my experience, I think the world is actually simpler. And I think that in every single exchange, somebody's getting a lot of the Western world is built off of other countries. Let's not pretend that's not the case. We've screwed over a whole bunch of other countries. And I'm not saying that in some stick up for third world way. I'm saying that, if you print the dollars and a country discovers uranium, you get to get their uranium for printed money. Yeah. Give me a real thanks. Here, take these. We don't take limbs. You don't take the dollar. Army, blow him up, replace. You take dollars? It's just the game. So we've been raping the other countries for so long. And my theory is that there is a much larger return now. America, because it prints the money, is different. But Europe, for example, the elites of Europe have realized instead of stealing from other countries to benefit Europe, there are much larger returns for them to destroy Europe and benefit the other countries. So they'll set up in Middle East somewhere. They'll set up in UAE or Saudi, or and they'll just go and they'll just make money off the decline of Europe. That's all.
In this conversation, you sort of focused a little bit on like the Democrats as far as in America goes, not necessarily the UK. But you don't think that the Republicans are still a part of the same sort of nexus?
100% there. I think that if I am honest with you, I don't think democracy is even a license to get anything done because I don't see any of these senators doing anything.
Switch to TurboTax.
Even Trump, who's I'm a huge fan of and has so much power to do whatever he wants outside of America's border, struggles to do anything inside of America. He can't even kick someone out. They have some judge who stops it. Oh, well, you can send Blackhawks to kidnap the president. You can put tariffs on the EU. We could go to war with China if he said so, but you can't kick out one dirty Mexican from your own country. It doesn't make any sense. Because I don't think democracy allows anybody who gets power the ability to actually do anything besides steal. I think democracy is just a mandate to steal. So the Republicans get into power with all these fantastical ideas, and then they look around and realize they have no power at all and they can't do it. So they just want to get rich before they leave. We're all stealing, bro. Yeah. Like this Somalian daycare bowl. Why don't the Republicans cause a fuss? Because it's their money too.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the frustrating part. You see it, and you're just kind of like, and not even just that. It's like even all the Doge stuff that they were talking about. And then
they kick Elon out for trying to cut the money down.
And even like the whole fact that the Pentagon they don't pass any audits for 8 years. It's like it's just a very clear sign that like they don't. Not that they don't know what's going on. They just don't care enough to actually change it.
If you enter a culture where everybody's already stealing, are you going to be the only doesn't? And then nobody will trust you. So you don't even get to keep your job. So if you walk in and everybody's stealing, if you walk into a store and everyone's stealing, are you going to go to the cash register and pay? Maybe at the beginning, for a while. But then after a while, you're like, this is dumb. Fuck this. Just give me the stuff. Everyone's just raping the system. Democracy is a license to endlessly steal. And the Republicans have no interest in changing it either. And when you understand democracies and how this all works, I guess you could argue, if you want to be optimistic, that the people who are principled enough to not steal aren't allowed to win. You could also argue that.
Yeah.
But my argument is actually that most people get inside of the system, realize how it is, realize there's nothing they can actually really do, and they may as well just get rich while they're there. I think people just give up.
Fair. So I kind of wanted to ask you this question specifically to that point. When it comes to the sort of conversation around America right now to being controlled by the Jews, right? If Christians were largely controlling, let's say they had the controlling ability of these companies and conglomerates and all the transnational money and everything, do you think that it would be a different situation or the same? Because I would argue that human nature, people are greedy.
I think people are greedy, and I also think people are naturally tribal, and the people who are not tribal get destroyed. I mean, if we're going to argue that the Jews are in charge of everything and they're looking out for the Jews, then what you're arguing for and saying is that Jews are doing what white people should be doing. Right, but they're not doing it. I don't know. My view on a lot of things, especially politically, and trying to understand how this world works, is that there's a few basic laws in the universe. There's cause and effect. There's power vacuums always get filled. But another thing I try to apply in my mind is that many people often, as unfair and unkind and cruel as the world seems, kind of get what they deserve in some ways. Like if you're not going to stick up for your country, stick up for your people, and you're going to allow yourself to go extinct, you're going to go extinct. Like this is just unfortunately human nature, right? There's always been outside oppressive force, and you either resist the outside oppressive force or you get crushed by the outside. That's it. If America survives or not almost depends on whether it deserves to. And if it gets destroyed, then it deserved to get destroyed. It's kind of I don't want to be evil when I'm trying to say this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, the white man didn't unfairly conquer the indigenous. The indigenous weren't good enough or didn't try hard enough, and they lost. That's it. And if now the white American continent as we know it and the American population get conquered by whatever or changes into something else, then they didn't try hard enough to resist. This is just human nature. It's how the world works. Power vacuums get filled. So if Christians were in charge of everything, would they be tribal and stick together and put their own interests first? I don't think so, because if they were that way, then they'd already be in charge of everything.
It's an interesting point.
I just think that we live in a world now where it's very unfortunate for the standard white average man in a Western country, because you're the only people on the planet who don't optimize for tribalism. Like if you go to Taiwan and you get accused of rape by a Taiwanese girl, and she speaks to Taiwanese police, and you go in front of a Taiwanese judge, you're done. That's it.
You just made me think of fatality real quick.
You're total strike.
Yeah.
Because you're not one of them.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was all the other way around, if a white girl went to white police in front of a white judge and accused a Taiwanese man of raping her and there was no evidence, he won.
Yeah.
So you guys are far more fair, but we can apply this we can think about this different ways, whether that's good or bad. Well, that's good that you're fair, but if it leads to your extinction, is it good? And I'm not saying to be corrupt in core. I'm saying is any idea that leads to the extinction of your own people a good idea? I was arguing this with a white Christian guy who was telling me that marriage is so important. I said, I'm anti-marriage. He's like, no, marriage matters most. I said, listen. He goes, kids without fathers, they commit crime, blah, blah, blah. I was like, listen, you're literally about to go extinct. So you don't have time for marriage. You need to get yourself 8 white baby mamas and make some babies.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go extinct. And if you think that
Do not bet on the NBA. Guys, these players get paid $100 million to literally not play defense and shoot threes. Guys, I'm telling you all right now, do not bet on the NBA. Don't do it. Guys, don't do it. The NBA is the worst one. Silver needs to come step the fuck in and come make these guys play some fucking defense because they don't play defense. I'm just being real, they don't care anymore. Hey, Ryan.
Hello? Yeah. That doesn't even open though.
Rita, you sure you're chilling and shit now? Yeah. Like, you haven't lost the sense? You haven't lost your shirt sense? You said what? Well, chilling now. That's good. That's good. I don't want to chill.
Piece of paper is more important than the survival of your race. You're an idiot. Because who gives you when you're all alone? Everyone's going to sit around saying white people were so stupid. They had to marry a bitch first. It took 2 years to convince her. They wasted all their life savings doing it. And they're like, what the f are you doing? Black people don't care. They don't give her baby, her baby, her baby, welfare. Who gives a like? So any idea that leads to your decimation, I would argue, is probably a bad idea. Yeah. So maybe white people need to get more tribalistic, which is probably bad for me because I ain't that white. I'm just trying to observe from the outside. Yeah. It's really interesting that black people are the only people who don't think that. I read something really interesting about how a sailor who was traveling with the British was amazed that he had never encountered a contract besides the white. And he said, only does the white man believe in using a contract because the white man optimizes for competency and all other races optimize for their tribe. So for a very simple thing, yeah, so I'm a white guy, I want a boat. I don't know how to make a boat, but I have money. So I go down to the shipbuilder and I say, here, can you build me a boat? He goes, yeah. I say, let's do a contract, let's do a deal. I don't know you, you don't know me, we don't know each other, but I'm gonna give you money and you're gonna give me a boat. And then he builds the boat and the boat is seaworthy, so we have a nice navy. Whereas if you're in Africa and you want, you go to your brother. Now your brother can't build a boat, but he's the only guy who won't row. So you just go to him and say, listen, I need a boat. Because I don't know how. So, yeah, but you're my younger brothers.
Web protection from Norton 360 helps safeguard you from navigating to.
And you make a, well, but anyone else will just steal from you. Because you'll give them the money for the boat and they'll go, yeah, no problem. And just steal it. Yeah. So you have to optimize for tribalism as opposed to competency. And the fact that the white man could optimize for competency is why you built these big, beautiful societies. It's why you're neighborly. It's why you don't play music too loud. It's why you're friendly. It's why you've learned how to get along with people you don't like. It's why you've learned how to do business with people you don't like and make money with people you actively hate. You're good at getting along with people who you don't know, who aren't in your tribe, because you always had this idea for hundreds of years that this optimizes for competency. Other people don't think that. Other races are just like, he's not my family, so I can't trust him. I may as well steal from him because he's not on my team.
Where do you think that came from?
I think it just came from societal evolution. Like, societal evolution is a thing. When you argue if white people are smarter than black people, you haven't got to argue it from a physical, biological evolutionary standpoint. You can argue it from a societal evolution standpoint. If no one goes to school in the whole country for 500 years, the average IQ is going to go down. Yeah. That's all it is. So if everyone steals, this is the thing that's so remarkable. Like the Somalis who are committing fraud don't even really consider it stealing. They don't consider it fraud. I'm getting money for my people. What's the crime? The crime is that you're stealing money from an institution which is designed to do something else. Well, in my world, institutions don't work. Every institution that's ever existed was giving money to someone else. It was all just stealing. I've never in Somalia been able to ever believe in an institution for more than 5 minutes. So what the fuck is an institution? That's not even a person I'm stealing from. I'm getting free money for my people from nothing. What's wrong with this? In their brain, they don't get it.
Yeah.
They're like, and then you'll sit and say, oh no, the institution is supposed to fairly give money to everybody, irregardless of their race, creed, religion, so that everybody can benefit from this magical, godlike, kind institution which is taking care of all of society. And they sit there and go, yeah, but they're not my people. So I won't. It's just a completely different tribal mentality that the white man doesn't have. And it's led to, I mean, it was the greatest strength because it builds civilization because you're optimizing for competency. But now it's been hijacked and it's as big as we. And now white people are going extinct in their own nation. And I say this as a brown man, but I like white chicks. So you need to hurry up, make some. Somebody needs to hurry up, make some, because we're running out. So, you know, it's crazy. But this all ties into the World War II, the Holocaust, Holocaust scenario I was in. All of this comes from World War II.
Kanye Gate. I don't know.
Kanye Gate.
I'm trying to figure out what to call it.
Bro. Gangster.
Yeah, it really it was an interesting time the last few days for sure. That's all I'll say.
The world news must be slow.
It's crazy. But so I want to talk to you a little bit about like your actual childhood. Have you ever shared much about that?
I think I've spoken about it a bit, but I don't think it was truly that remarkable. I have a few stories which might be considered remarkable, but I think it is.
The reason why, I guess the real question I want to get to with you is, how did you actually become? Obviously, I know you became who you are through all your trials, all your experiences. But like, at what point in your life were you like, there's something more for me?
I don't know if you're born with this or not, but I kind of always knew that a lot of the things I was being told, or a lot of the things that were originally expected of me, were not going to lead me. I can't explain why I knew from a very young age that I wanted to have an exceptional life. And it's not because I wanted